I'm always focused on making sure that when we are building a business, it's something that we love. There's nothing worse than toiling away at creating a business and finally seeing it begin to bear fruit and start making money, but then realizing that it's completely out of alignment with what you value, with the work you want to be doing every day, and that it is not a real reflection of your life's work. Listen, we as mental health professionals have a responsibility to do the due diligence of creating businesses that are in alignment with our values, our strengths, and our skill sets. I always jokingly say we don't turn widgets, we change lives. And so, because our work puts us right in the middle of human beings, struggle and growth process and healing journey, we really have to be well resourced to do that work, or it's going to be something that starts to eat away at us and turn into burnout quickly. And so sometimes I will watch therapists choose niches or choose lines of business or explore opportunities that are not in good alignment for them only because they're wanting, the resources or the money that is going to come from it. Or sometimes I'll see people choose what they think is like the popular item that's going to fast track their results and their success, but it's not something that they're passionate about or care much about. There's nothing worse than, climbing the ladder of building a business for yourself and then realizing it's on the wrong mountain. When I reflect in my journey, because I've been in business 20 years in the mental health field, when I reflect on my journey, I think the moments that were most discouraging for me were those when I was creating results for myself. We had contracts with school systems. We were working with some of the major hospitals in the area. Things were flowing, had a huge office space, staff, all of those things were working. But internally, my role in the business I created was not satisfying for me. It was so out of alignment with the things that I value and want to be doing each and every day. And I had to really do the difficult work of creating a pivot in my role so that I could build a business that felt more in alignment and could go the distance for me. Because I had that experience, I know how important it is to make sure that therapists make wise choices from the beginning. And so let's talk about what it looks like if your business is out of alignment and what you can do to kind of bring it back in, right? In the very beginning, asking yourself, why am I starting this business in the first place? Like, what is my motivation for building a business? Because the work of creating a business is so challenging, if your why is not something that is compelling, that's not something that is really like meaningful and a reflection of your values, you will run out of steam even in the early phases of putting together a business. So making sure that your reason for creating this business is in alignment with your values in the first place is the number one thing for you to consider as you're starting out. As you're getting into the flow of your business, another thing is that your role is aligned. We all have certain strengths and talents, like natural gifts that we can bring to doing this work. But if you have doubled down on doing something that's far out of alignment with your strengths, you are setting yourself up for something that's going to not only be frustrating and perhaps not create good results for your business, but you're also diminishing that confidence that you need to keep taking action in your business. Let me tell you what this looks like. Let's say you are someone who is just really bad with accounting. You're just not good with accounting, but you've taken upon yourself to do your own books. That means every month when you sit down to reconcile your accounts, it is putting you outside your zone of genius and putting you in a space of frustration and overwhelm trying to take care of the financial needs of your business. It also might mean you're prone to making more errors and mistakes. And each time you make that mistake, if it has impact other places in the company, now you're sitting here feeling like, man, I'm not doing this right. When really, you could remove the part of that role that's not in alignment for you and outsource to an accountant that's going to help you to do things that are more in aligned with your gifts. So as they are focusing on making sure your reconciles are correct, you can focus on your zone of genius and the contribution you make to your business that quite honestly, no one else can do, only you can. So making sure your why and your values are aligned when you start, making sure that your role is reflected, your strengths, and that you really have an aligned role in your business. And then having a true North guide for the choices that you make on the things you pursue. If you are pursuing things in the business just because they seem profitable, but they are out of alignment with your purpose, it won't work long. And quite honestly, you probably won't be the best candidate to deliver on a project that you're not passionate about. If you're doing it just because it's your job versus doing it because this is the work you've wanted to do since you started your career in mental health, can you see how that's going to show up differently in the results you create and the name that you make for yourself out there? Every time you're working on a project or working with a client or a colleague or just doing any work in your business, you are setting the tone for people on what to expect when working with you. And so if you're putting yourself in a position where you're doing work that's out of alignment, not only are you likely to invite more opportunities that are a lot out of alignment because you're like, your trajectory is off. So you're like gaining momentum in a lane that doesn't suit you, but you also put yourself at risk for being known for not being passionate about your work because it's not work that you're passionate about. But you get to choose. You get to choose. And so it's so wise if you're at the beginning trying to discover your why, or if you're figuring out your role, or if you're planning for growth in your business, take a moment and really reflect on kind of who you are at your core. What brought you to doing this work in the first place? And I mean the work of mental health, period. Why did you choose this field? And then ask yourself, what would be an ideal way for my business to operate? When you think about the perfect day in your future business, what do you see yourself doing? If you didn't have any limiting ideas around what's possible, what kind of contribution could you see yourself making to your ideal clients? Once you're clear on that and you really have a trajectory for success that is in alignment with who you are and your values, now the steps you take towards growing your business will give you momentum that is positive, that is moving you in a direction of work that you love to do, and something, quite honestly, that will insulate you from the burnout that so many therapists face when we're doing work that feels arduous. Okay. I hope this makes sense. You know, one of the things that got me thinking about this, I was recently on vacation with one of my children. I have 3 kids, and one of the things that I do is take solo vacations with them. It's a great way to get to know them, especially in the teen years and whatnot. And I had this moment of sitting there being so grateful for just the life I've created in this business over the last 20 years. The piece that made me most grateful is because it's so clear that my business is really in alignment with what I love doing. And so when I take vacations, I'm not running away from the business. I'm just seeking experiences and adventure. And so I'm aligned, coming back excited and on fire to do more work. I'll tell you another thing that I was grateful for a business that's in alignment. I've made choices that allow me to make good money, to leverage my time. And so I am available to spend time with my children. From the very beginning, if you know anything about my origin story in business, I created the schedule that I created in my business because I wanted to be available to my children. And so even now, as they are becoming adults, it is important to me that I still prioritize spending quality time with them. And the business allows me to do that. So not only the freedom of time, but resources that give me the freedom to make choices, but I'm in a healthy space physically. And so when my son says he wants to zip line and drive an ATV and go jump in a cenote, I'm able to do those things because I've taken good care of myself over these 20 years in business. Why am I telling you all of this? Because I want it to be that for those of you who are at the beginning stages of creating your business, that you make the kind of choices that are in alignment with your values. So some 10, 15, 20 years from now, when you are enjoying the fruits of your labor, you have climbed a ladder that is on a mountain that is meaningful for you, and that you're doing work that you care about and able to live a life that feels good to you because you've made wise choices in your business. Oh, I hope today was helpful. A little different tone, but I really wanted to make sure that you all see kind of what's possible for you when you think critically about the business that you're building and really create a life plan, then a business plan so that you get 2 for 1 good results down the line. If this was helpful, please go ahead and like. If you think there's another mental health professional that needs to hear it, share. And if you have not already, it is time for you to subscribe. Please do go ahead and hit the notifications bell too so you can see when new videos come out. Typically on Mondays, we're uploading new content, but I want you to stay in connection because it matters to me that this is helpful. So if in the comments you want to let me know what part of this conversation was useful, I'd love to hear from you. All right. It's important that you take good care of yourself so you can take good care of your clients. And of course, take good care of your business. See you next time.